So what do you think is the solution for us?
I don't think that there's a singular solution, and I think that's where the
But that's the
topic is.
thing. It's not a singular. It's like it goes back again to the system.
Mm-hmm.
We have the they have the white supremacy system.
Mm-hmm.
A system is different, is basically different parts or different organs or different components coming together to build in one function.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking about a system.
Right.
What system do you think is workable for Africans?
I would say in regards of Africans, you have to also take into account that the accountability also has to start with Africans at some point, despite the interjection of European countries. Why? Because there are African countries that are not under Europe and flourishing. Ghana, to be exact, is flourishing. They were under Britain. They said no.
They're not flourishing.
But they're doing better than Togo. There was a point in time they are doing so much better than Togo. They're doing so much better than Togo. So
To
much.
me, this is where I come back with the whole system thing. This is where I come back with the whole unit thing. If one if like, for example, let's take the continent. I really, my wish and my goal and my dream, and I really sleep and I dream about it. Let's say that Africa was a union. It was one old big country instead of a continent. If one African country is suffering, we're all suffering. If one African country goes down, we all go down. We can't. We have to stop the individual. We have to stop the individualism. That's what we have to stop, is the individualism. Because you are your own person, absolutely, Negraitta. You have your own likes, wants, needs, and everything, and I'm my own person. But if we are in the revolution, let's say we are in the revolution. If we are in the revolution, and they said it's time for you to put your individualism aside for the greater good, that is where they beat us at. That is where they beat us at.
But not every single one of them is going to take up arms.
It's not about them. It's not about them individuality. It's not about them individuality. I can't even say the freaking word properly. It's not about them singularly. It's about them as a whole. It's about how they're winning as a collective whole. Even with them, they have their own black sheeps. So you would say we have their own black sheeps. But their system is way more functionable than our system. We don't even have a system.
Their system could not exist, though, without the help of people within our, like, it's like, for me, the thing starts at, I can acknowledge the wrong of the system. I can acknowledge the limitations.
Which system?
The like white supremacy as a whole.
The whole system is trash.
Right. I can acknowledge the flaw of the system. I can acknowledge how it's monetized.
Actually, I disagree. What I just said, I disagree with that statement. I don't even know why I said their system is not trash, because their system is working.
But it's trash to us because it's like deteriorating our abilities. So that's where I agree at. But at the same time, it's like their system would not be able to function without the support of those outside of that system. Without support of those outside of the system that it's benefiting. It's not plausible.
So again, let me give you an example. I love giving examples because it helped me get my point across. I am the president of my international club on my campus. So I have other people that work with me. I have the secretary, I have a treasurer, and I have other members that help me build this club up. Now, when we have meetings, there's about 50 people in the room. We have meetings to try to see how we was going to do the fashion show, to try to see how things were going to be functionable and how things can work. When we have those meetings, I cannot take everybody's opinion. I cannot say, okay, well, I have to think about every single, you cannot satisfy everybody. Everybody cannot be satisfied. But at the end of the day, if I have to make tough decisions that are going to benefit the cause, that is going to further the cause, which is probably for us to put on the best fashion show that we can probably put on, for us to be recognized by other schools and other campuses, for other campuses to come on our events that we have. If that means that you have to suppress what you think that you want for the mass greater good, you have to do that. I'm not going to take everybody's opinion. I can't satisfy everybody as the president. And at the end of the day, I have to make the tough decision that I think that is beneficial for
you in your perspective of how it's going to help that majority. Like, there's no way, right? I can sit here and exist within my own perspective and truth if there's only a singular truth to that. And okay, my thing is, so what do you think is like a Black person, I'm going back to this, a Black American is not going to survive in Africa, like, point blank period. Because
I disagree.
They're not going to.
They're doing it right now.
If all of African Americans right now were to move to Africa, there would be bloodshed.
What do you mean?
Because it's like the culture of it is two different points. So someone here living in America telling me an African, right? Telling me an African. And the reason why I say that is because what they're going through there, regardless of, no, it's not false. Because if it was false, then we wouldn't be having issues with the African community versus the Black American community in the United States. There's different cultures. It's complete different cultures. There is no way anyone will tell me otherwise because I've lived it. Because in this moment right now, if I were to bring my parents and have them talk like right now, when I come into this house, I'm back in Togo. When I'm outside the door, that's when I enter America. Two different cultures. No, two different cultures because that is the system that my parents are running within the house. That is. Because it's like, and no one else can tell me that's false because no one else has lived in this house. And no Black American living in America can go and tell an African what their struggles is when they haven't experienced it. Just because I look like you, yes, surface deep, I can tell you similar situations that we probably have gone through. But I am not you at all, nor is everything that I've been through going to equate to the same, right? The same level of, it's not going to be the same. The response is going to be completely different. When you think Africa, it goes to past countries. It goes tribes. Then within those tribes, there's even smaller tribes. And then you have, that is completely different and left of the actual culture. Because there's a mass culture, then there's the tribe underneath. You have Africans who will not identify as Black American and will do anything to not do it. So there is no way anyone can tell me that the struggle within living in Africa versus living here is the same. Because if it was, there would not be Africans trying to come to America. It wouldn't happen.
It's off of ignorance.
It's not though, because
it's off of ignorance and greed. It's off of ignorance and greed.
Life here is different than the life a lot of people were living in Africa. Life here is different than the life that I talk to my parents back, talk to my grandparents and family back home. Reading a book or hearing words from someone who's never even actually lived there or experienced life there, saying that they know how to fix situations there, it's counteractive. It's counterproductive. It's like you can't.
I don't need to live somewhere to know how it works.
You don't have to live somewhere.
I don't have to live, but you need to know
how. You still need it. It's just like this. I know how to box up shit and mail it and stuff. But I'm not just gonna go to Amazon and be like, I'm gonna work here because I know